Is the food that you're getting in a cafeteria or a restaurant clean and sanitary? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Local Edition. With me this hour is Pennsylvania State Representative Babette Josephs. Thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
We're talking about a specific incident, but this incident could have implications throughout the Commonwealth. Talk to us a little bit about what happened at the Capitol complex and who actually eats at this location, at this cafeteria.
Well, let's start with the back end of your question, because it's not only elected officials and state workers, it's the public. Great numbers of the public come to the Capitol. It's a beautiful building, and they eat lunch in the cafeteria. Thousands of school children over the course of a year eat lunch in the cafeteria. Cafeteria failed seriously, miserably, their last inspection. And before that, they hadn't been inspected for 3, 4, 5 years. So it's a very big problem for food safety.
And why hadn't they been inspected?
Well, there was a jurisdictional dispute between the Department of Agriculture that does some inspections of food places and the Harrisburg Health Department, which inspects within Harrisburg. Now, I don't blame either one of them because they deserve a little blame, but not really a lot. I really blame the management of this cafeteria. Whether or not they're inspected, they should have had a clean place. And if they kept their place clean, they should have demanded an inspection so they had a record. Now, in the meantime, we're putting the health of the public in jeopardy, and it's very serious to me.
So when we talk about these violations, what do they actually include? How significant are they in terms of public health?
This is pretty, like, gagging, but I'll say it because people need to know. There were mice droppings every place, on surfaces where food was being prepared. The hand washing stations were not adequate. The workers sometimes handed food to people without gloves on their hands after they hadn't adequately washed their hands. The dishwashers weren't hot enough. Those kinds of violations, not something minor, not a piece of paper on the floor, like really bad disease kind of prone violations.
So you actually had hearings at the end of January regarding these violations and the failure of the inspection. What did you find out with the hearings?
Well, the hearing, there were people from the contractor, which is a big food service company based in Pennsylvania, Aramark, and they were promising us all different training programs and different procedures, different personnel. And while we were in the hearing, they were being inspected, again, unannounced, and they again failed their inspection, even as their executive was talking about how they were going to change the system. So that's very disappointing.
So then what happens at this point? Because this food service provider does have other contracts, but it could potentially be an instance where other food service providers are also violating the health codes.
We don't know, but one way we could find out, we passed in the House, and I voted for it twice, actually, once in committee, once on the floor, a food safety bill. It's House Bill 174, which the Senate is now looking at. That would clear up some of these jurisdictional disputes. It would make restaurant food services places post on the internet and other places their inspection results. I think we need that. Since this incident particularly, we've been urging the senators to move this bill on.
And that would be applicable statewide, not
Yes.
just at this Harrisburg instance?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes.
We just have a few seconds left, but is this something that you think is going beyond this one incident and this legislation could really make a difference? And would it apply to just cafeterias, or are we talking about all different food service
We're
locations?
talking about all food service venues, and it would, Philadelphia, the Department of Health here has very high standards, but if you leave Philadelphia, go someplace in Pennsylvania to eat, you want to be safe. So it's really important for a statewide bill.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Babette Josephs. I'm Jill Horner.